Hello everyone, my name is Zyna Obasi and I'm your host on the waiting room with Zyna. Welcome to another episode of our street edition. Meanwhile, I'm also the author of Zyna's Waiting Room. If you have not got yours, please DM us and we'll get one for you or get one across to you. You can also go to Amazon or to get your copy. And today we are back on the street. I know you guys understand when I say street edition. We started this street edition some episodes ago, and we have been going on the streets of Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja to get the people, talking about these things. We just want to hear what the street is saying, what the people out there are saying about the topics. Today's topic, by the way, is mockery. We are talking about mockery. I know you are familiar with the term mockery. A lot of people who are in this waiting room, they will tell you their experience firsthand on mockery. But today we are not bringing them in. Later on, we'll probably do that, maybe towards the end or next season. But today we are talking to you out there on the streets of Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. What do you think? What's your take on mockery, especially when people mock those who are waiting for children, when they mock couples or women in their families and stuff like that? I want to know what Nigerians particularly have to say to those who mock people who are waiting for children. Follow me, let's go and watch.
Person wey dey laugh, person wey no get pikin no good, because pikin na God dey give am, and you don't have right, or even because say God give you 3 or 4 or 5, make e laugh that one wey never born one. Those your 5 fit die at any time, which is you sef, the person go come better pass you, because by then they go say you now na winch, you don chop all your children finish, while the other one no born. So you no have right to laugh anybody wey no born pikin, because na God dey give pikin. If na something wey man dey give, if he say you no fit get am, but this is God, na God way. God know how e take happen. And again, they no dey use money dey buy pikin, because some people get money, get everything, they no fit born, while some people no even get to chop, but dem born up to. So you no suppose to laugh anybody wey no get pikin, because no be you dey give the pikin. And if you dey do this kind of a thing, say you dey laugh your neighbor or your family, say you no born pikin, you need to stop am.
I hope you guys heard him. Now, this is a season where people gather together. Okay, this is the Christmas season. This is a celebration time, the season of love, the season of happiness, coming together. Personally, I was not mocked, okay, when I was waiting. For some of you who may be getting to see me for the first time, I waited for 17 years before God blessed us with our beautiful baby girl, and that she came through adoption. But I was not particularly mocked by in-laws or family members, no. But there were some indirect things that people would do. You feel withdrawn, you feel bad and all that. And then some people will outrightly come at you, subtle, things like that they would do. Maybe not family, friends and colleagues. I had my own fair share of that. When people lay those underlining tones, they just drop it to, get at you. And then, things that they'll tell you, you don't immediately understand it until after some time it begins to simmer. You then like, okay, is this why they said this or why they said that? At that point the person is gone and there's no opportunity for you to respond, so you just go away with the pain. And I had my own fair share of that. Things, simple, small things. When people do things like that, sometimes they don't even know what it does to a waiting woman, especially. So we are in a season now where people are coming together this Christmas season, people traveling home to, get together with family and stuff like that. It is very sad, when you get to that village and everybody, you are dealing with a lot of stuff. Coming home without a child when everybody else in the family is coming home with their children. The worst is when you now come home, aunties and uncles and mother-in-law and sisters-in-law and brothers-in-law, everybody is coming at you for not coming home with a child. Like, seriously, did you hear the guy? God gives these children. It's not for you to give. And if I had my way, I would have had children. If it was easy for me to just go and, I mean, it could have happened. Even the adoption, I waited for how long before it was successful. So it's not like it's that easy. You just walk in and walk out. So please count your teeth with your tongue before you start mocking people. As people are coming home for Christmas to come together and enjoy the family this festive season, don't make it harder for them. Don't use this opportunity to now come at them because you've not seen them from January to December. You're like, okay, now is the time to give them all that I've had locked up inside for them. It is not good, because when you do these things to people, you don't know what you're doing. You might think you're just airing your own opinion. I mean, there are some opinions you have you can actually keep to yourself. You don't have to say everything you feel. And I always ask, who needs the child most? You or the person who is waiting? I mean, I think the person who is waiting should be most affected, and they should be the ones missing the children most. So please stop with the mockery.
Life is give and take. Most people that mock and laugh, they forget that God is a giver of children. You that laugh and mock at another person, God can decide to take those children because you are mocking somebody. It's the one that gave you. Some of these people that mock, they cry to God. If God hear their cry, he may decide to take the children of the person that is mocking to make him in the same situation like these other ones. So they should not mock. They should not mock at all. They shouldn't mock. They should encourage them. They should pray for them. They should counsel them to trust in the Lord. They should give them hope.
It is not morally right for you to mock any human being that doesn't have a child. You that have a child, you have to be very careful. You might be in the same shoe of the person that doesn't have a child. If eventually this your child you are bragging about, God takes him away or something happened that tomorrow he is no more, what will you do? And see, we have to be very careful in the way we treat people. These people, is not their wish for them to stay without children. But if eventually God didn't give them children, it is in your place for you to stand with them, pray with them, give them all the necessary advice that they will be able to hold themselves together and feel belong and feel among the people that even have children. It is your advice that will determine whether these people will have children soon or it will take them longer time for them to have children. So you should be very careful. The one you are having now, you don't know whether tomorrow you are going to lose it.
It is not a good idea at all to mock people, especially awaiting mothers, because it has made most of them to go into depression because of what they feel they are childless, they don't have children of their own. It happens especially in our world today. When a woman does not have a child, we look at her as if she has not gotten anything good in life, which is not supposed to be. So we should never look down on them. Rather, we should try to encourage them to do one of these, either adoption or the IVF or surrogacy, instead of mocking them. It can make someone to even go insane. Mocking her of her childlessness will not bring happiness to her. It has made some of them to be sad.
I hope you are listening, because everyone seems to be saying the same thing, repeating the same thing. And I'm happy that we went on the streets to get these comments from people. Because sometimes I wonder, these people that mock others, how did they grow up? Where did they grow up? Under what kind of condition were they trained or raised? Because it is morally wrong. It's not. Growing up, there are some things that you are taught growing up that you don't do. Things like mocking people. Things like bragging about what you have, being proud and showing open, pride in what you have, or depending so much on material things or things you cannot control. And that's why someone like me, based on how I was raised, no matter what, I can never do that, even if I had 20 children. So we need to learn more about how we raise children. Those of us who are in the area or position of influence, these are things we should teach, not just to your children, but to the children around you. Use the opportunities you have to interact with them, either in school, at work, wherever you come across anyone, the younger ones. Make sure that you inculcate and try to teach them to imbibe this kind of good culture. As a human being, there are certain things you should never be caught doing. As you teach them not to steal, not to lie, you teach them also not to be prideful and not to depend on or brag about things that you cannot control. Things like having children, it is not for you to brag about, because it is not you. There was a woman that had 3 kids, and they were in a very big school one time like that in this country, and something happened, an accident happened, and she lost all 3. I mean, imagine having closed shop in that area, because some people, when they are done, they're like, okay, take away the womb, I don't want to go here again, tie it up and stuff like that. So having done all of that, and like, okay, let me just concentrate on these 3 kids and take care of them, and then something happens and all 3 die in one day. She wasn't the cause of it, but something like that can happen. We don't pray for that, but it happens. So please. And sometimes I also heard growing up, I experienced certain things, because part of my growing up years I spent in the village, and you come across people that just act as if they are gods. Like, someone gets married into a family, and then the sisters-in-law, who are not married at the time, begin to look at your womb and openly yab you, and like, when are you going to have children for my brother? You have not gotten married as a woman, and you open your mouth to yab another woman, mock her and insult her and call her names, that she doesn't have kids. You have not even gotten married, much less having your own kids. And the truth is, some people who are going through this now probably did this to other people, growing up. And you would say they are paying for it. Nobody wishes this on anybody, but please, we need to learn to not, the things that you cannot control, just leave it. It's not for you to talk about. Things like children, having children, getting pregnant, giving birth, and whatever means the children are coming, it is not for you to talk down on someone else who is wishing to have that. Or it's like getting married, and then everybody who is not married, you go talking down on them. You don't know how long your own marriage is going to last, because you have no control over that. No matter what you do, there are still 2 of you involved, and even if you both do everything properly right, there's death, there's accident, there are so many things to contend with. So life as it is already too hard. So let's try not to make it harder for more people.
In my own opinion, to mock, to harass, to intimidate, to frustrate, to attack, or even go as far as victimizing such people, that is inevitable. You can't rule that out because of the various circumstances that might arise in different cases. And so, the main ball game is that the waiting couples themselves should refuse to be intimidated, and they should go back to their creator who owns them, who owns their life. If a waiting couple is not for example, if a waiting couple is not a born again waiting couple, what do you expect of them? You begin to see a lot of, they did not position themselves rightly. And then, of course, you will see their relations and so on faulting. But no matter what, if they are a born-again waiting couple and they are facing challenges, God will take over that battle.
Now, this man brought an angle to it that I love so much, and I want to spend a few seconds to talk about. he said is inevitable. Yeah. So, like I say, there are things you don't have control over. In my own case, I got to that point. I went through the roller coaster. That's why you need to get this book, okay? So you can get to read and understand my experiences in this waiting room. I call it a roller coaster of experiences. I went through the bad, the good, the sad, the crying. I went through all the stages, and I got to a point where I told myself, look, you are the one waiting. People would deal with you or dish out to you what they feel like, but you have the right to take or not to take what they are dishing out. So I built a mechanism around myself that helped me to cope. Listen, if you are a waiting woman, you can choose not to take the insults when they are coming, and you know they are coming because you know how they come. You stop them in their tracks and send it back to them. Like I sent one guy that came to me one time and said he was praying and he was told to tell me that it was one old woman in my husband's family that was responsible for his barrenness, according to him. That's what he called it. And when he finished, there are some things people say to you, you don't know how to respond. That first time he spoke to me, I honestly did not respond to him because, first of all, I was shocked. It was like a jab at my heart. I couldn't respond. I was traumatized from all the things he said to me. But when I went back, I lost my peace. I lost my peace for the rest of that day. The next day, I hardly slept. And I asked myself, I cannot deal with this because this is too much for me. So I regrouped and I came back and I looked for him. I think 2 days later also, I found him. I stopped him on the street. I didn't care. I just stopped him there. I said, let me speak to you. Let me respond to what you told me. And he was like, I said, no, sir, let me respond. Number one, the things you came to say to me, I don't know who sent you, but that was not for me. Or that was not from God. Whatever you are coming with is not for me, number one. Number two, the old woman you're referring to, Shebi is my mother-in-law. He said, no, I'm not saying I said that's who you are referring to. My mother-in-law, that's no matter your years in this life, you can never be as close to God as my mother-in-law was. Or at that time she was still alive. I say as that woman is. So don't you dare. I know people go around telling people stuff like this and getting to stop the peace that is already existing in the families and all of that. I said, don't come to me with that. I gave it back to him. I said, I stopped you now to tell you that what you told me was not for me, and I'm giving it back to you. If you are called to pray, go pray for other people. Don't you dare put my name in your mouth again when you're praying. The guy was looking at me. I said, yes, sir. Don't pray for me. Don't come to me with prophecies. Don't come to me with whatever. I give it back to you. There's nobody in my husband's family that is against me. Because if you don't watch those things, they will drop them. You begin to internalize them. Before you know it, it begins to deplete into so many things, and then wahala will start. This is a family that I've married into. Nobody ever worried me for the how many years I've been there. Then you want to come and sow those kind of seeds. I gave it back to him and I said, don't you ever come back to me. So women especially, they come to you, even men. When they come with these things, stop them and send them back. Don't take it. You don't have to take the insult. You don't have to take the mockery. You can build a mechanism around yourself and how to cope. And if somebody yabs or mocks you, don't go back there. If you go to someone's house and they treat you unfairly because you don't have children, and they call for another family gathering, don't go there. Tell yourself you're not going. You're bigger than that. Don't say what will people say. No, you should care more about your mental health than what people will say. So that's how you can help protect yourself against things like that. Let's watch.
When you mock any of them, you are mocking God, because no man give a child. Child are being given by God. So if you mock any of these people, you are telling God that you are not capable. In fact, the works of your creation is not finished. In fact, you do not know what you are doing by not giving this particular couple a child. So, like those people, you just pray with them.
Children are gifts from God. And we believe that definitely one day God will perform his miracle by giving such people the fruit of the womb. So there's no need. I believe that those that does that do not actually know God. If they really know God, they won't do that. So it's not right to do that.
It's God that gives and God that takes. You can't be mocking your brother or your neighbor that doesn't have a child. It pleases God that give you a child for you to have it. Them not having a child is not their own fault. The fault can come from them sometimes. It can also come, it can be a God makes, not to have in that moment. But for them not to have a child, you can't be mocking them that they don't have a child. It's God wish. You can see please God. You can see please God to give them a child. I have a woman in my area that she's 65 years old. She just give her a bouncing baby boy. It's up to 2 years now. 65 years old. God just visits her, and God answer her prayer. She have been calling on God. She have been asking of God, and God just opened door for her. Her womb open, and she conceived.
For those that are mocking women, most especially a woman mocking a woman, a fellow woman like her, I see that as the person did not know God, and the person did not know where children comes from, because if you actually know that a child is a gift from God, you as a woman, you will not mock your fellow woman. So I believe it's out of ignorance that they are doing that, and I pray that God will touch them and give them that understanding.
Those people don't know God, because if you know God, you will know that it's God that gives child, it's God that gives children. So those that mock them, they don't know God, or they don't have conscience, because even if you don't know God, you know it's something that is beyond human being power. So you cannot mock your fellow human being because you don't have a child.
People who mock people who are passing through uh, childlessness. Of course, some may be married and some are not married, and their perspective might be different, either based on family background. Maybe a family is looking for a heir, and when that heir is delayed in coming, they'll be so anxious and be pushing the couple. And as a result of that, mockery can come in. And some may even feel that, well, why not you go out of wedlock and have a child through another person and still claim that it's from the family. And as a result of marital commitments between the couple, when the person they suggest that to fails to do so, they feel that, well, the person is not productive. But then, when you look at those who are patient, either because of their marital vows, commitments, or through their faith background, they have read and have witnessed families who were patient. They waited despite all the mockeries from families, either from the family of the man or the woman, or contemporaries who probably may have been married the same period of time and have issues. Such mockeries came upon them, and they withstood it for that long, trusting in God. At the end of the day, their celebration is the biggest.
For you to mock somebody who has been waiting, it's like calling a curse upon yourself. These children are gifts from God, and none of us has been able to do anything to bring a child into this life. It is God that has given, and they are precious in His sight. And since we cannot do anything to bring a child into the world, it is God that does it. So I don't see the reason why a couple or somebody should mock a couple that is waiting. But if you do that, you are attracting the wrath of God upon yourself. Even if it doesn't come to you directly, it will affect your children. So it is really a terrible thing for someone to mock someone who is trusting or waiting upon the Lord for the fruit of the womb.
And in addition, mocking someone that is childless, just as mommy said, is a curse. Because, it's God that gives. God has planned for everyone. And his time is always good for man. So, sometimes I would say, okay, I saw a woman that, okay, she is childless, and where she sees a child, she will carry the baby, put on her back or on her tummy, that she is trusting God for God to bless her. You will see them, people laughing that, this one, she is old. Can she give birth again? Can she take in again? Sometimes I will tell them, this is someone close to me. I'll say, are they God? Look at Sarah. At what age? You understand? So, and we people that mock, God can bless you with 10 children today. God can decide to take these 10 children today. And there are times this childlessness in some people, it is God's plan. Maybe if He bless them, there may be something that man cannot see with these naked eyes. But God has a reason for everything. But we pray that the mockers, that God will open their hearts and their eyes to see and understand.
Wow, you've heard it all from, I mean, the ladies and the guys that spoke. Mockery is not good, it is morally wrong. Okay, and sometimes I've also witnessed people quarreling and shouting at each other and doing such in front of little kids. That's how we breed this type of thing. And when you are living in a compound, in a society, or in a whatever, in a situation where you have people who don't have some things and people who have some, and then those who have openly, mock or say it out, and they say it in front of their children. Sometimes parents are talking in their homes with their kids in the sitting room or in the room or whatever, and they are talking about their other in-laws that don't have, and they are saying things like this, and those children are watching, they are listening. You think they are not paying attention because they are playing with their toys? They are paying serious attention. Even though they are playing with toys, they are also listening to you. So they are the ones that will carry what you have said. It may not even be that they will take it to those people, but they have internalized it and they have taken it as something they too should do. And tomorrow they will practice it. So please, let's be very careful what we say, what we do, especially in front of the younger ones, and let's make a conscious effort to try as much as possible not to, shame people for whatever they don't have. It goes beyond having children. It goes broke shaming, and we are talking about so many things these days. Whatever it is that people don't have that you have, it is not still under your control. You can lose it tomorrow. They are material things. They can come, they can go. What matters is the content of our heart. So please, let's try to make the people who are waiting more comfortable, pray with them, encourage them, and wish them well. Okay, thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who contributed to today's episode. We thank and we love you. We know that it wasn't easy for you to give us those few moments of your time, but we really, really, really do appreciate you. And we say God will bless you, because the messages that you have left here, they are forever going to be out in the social media, and people will keep watching, keep learning. So you are joining hands with us to share this message of love, especially in this festive season. So as you eat your rice, you drink, you eat the turkey, you eat the chicken, remember to spread that love around you and to everyone, especially those people who don't have kids. If possible, take your children, pay them a visit. You understand? Just go into their space and make them feel good, whatever it is that you can do to reach out to them in a special way this season, and make sure that kind words and prayers are part of what you go and live with them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget that next week Friday will be coming back to you with another episode. Right now we are still on the waiting room with Zyna Street Edition, and when we are done we will move into the season 2, but we'll keep you posted on all that. Don't forget, we are on YouTube and we're on Facebook, and we also drop our links on Instagram for those of you who are there following us. Don't forget to follow, like, share, comment, and hit that notification button on YouTube. Until we see you again, remain blessed. My name is Zyna Obasi. Thank you for watching. Bye.